Yo, coming to you live and direct. We from New Orleans, y'all. We down here in the Bayou. The blackest one always with me to the right. We got special guests, man. We got Dame Dollar, Dame Time in the building, y'all. Check it out.
Toast, for sure. Dame Dollar, Dame Time. It's Dame Time right now, baby. First question we ask everybody who come on the show is when you first made it to the NBA, who was the first person to bust your ass?
The first person to bust my ass.
Yeah.
So you like
preseason at Phoenix, Goran Dragic.
The
Dragon. He drugged me in that preseason, and it was like I was looking around for help, looking at the bench. Like, it wasn't even ISOs. It was just like he was just crafty.
Playing the
he was
game.
Pick and roll and like
he was
just
smarter at the
manipulating
game,
everything.
you?
He was just smart.
Yeah.
And I was like, coming into the game, I knew he was good, but I was like, I mean, this ain't Chris Paul or
this ain't the
Russ
big
or nothing
names.
like that. So I kind of was sleep on how good he was.
Yeah.
And he got the running up, coming off screen, snaking it, and
Was
doing
him being
all
a
that.
lefty hard, make it
That
more,
threw me off too.
Yeah.
Because he was a lefty, and I was
Lefties
just
is-
like,
is
damn, he
janky.
crafty, he shooting, he pulling up, getting fouled, and I was just like, damn.
Just
After the
playing the
game,
game.
I was just like,
You can't pass
it's gonna be
nobody.
a tough year, if, like, 'cause I wasn't expecting it to go like that.
Everybody finna come.
I was like, I wasn't expecting it to go like that, but he got me for sure.
You chose to go to Notre Dame High School, same high school as Jason Kidd. You went there and then you transferred. What made you go there? The history of it?
Well, I went to a different high school, 9th grade, and then I went there because I was like, J Kidd went here. They known for having a good basketball program. It's gonna be a good education. So like my parents, everybody was in support of it. And I got there and it just wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. So I mean, my sophomore year, that was my sophomore year. I ain't really play at all.
Yeah.
Like I literally was.
So
when
you
I
on
say
varsity
riding the
not
bench,
playing?
I was on varsity and I was like literally not playing.
So you playing JV and just dressing for varsity?
I wasn't playing JV. I was
so they
just
just
on
had
varsity. I just wasn't playing. Like 0
That's
minutes.
Wow.
So you transferred to get an opportunity.
Yeah.
What school you transferred to?
Oakland High. I
Oakland
transferred to Oak. So I left St. Joe's Notre Dame towards the end of my sophomore year, and I transferred back to Oakland with all my friends. So like, I was like, they ain't playing me. I don't really like private school like that anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a public school kid, so
Yeah.
it was already kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I convinced my parents to just let me go back to school with all my friends. And when I got there, it was like,
Neighborhood.
I was back in my element. It really helped because all my friends had 4.0s.
Yeah.
So like,
Damn.
I'm thinking I'm finna come here and it's finna be fun and we gonna hoop. And they like, we about to do our homework. We going to study hall. So it really turned me up and made me eligible for clearinghouse when it was time to go to school. Because if it wasn't like that, I wouldn't have been cleared.
That's dope. You
Yeah.
left a school that this is what they do to
Yeah.
the school where they don't really even put many kids out, and
Yeah,
that's a dope.
yeah, for real.
That's dope.
Yeah.
What was the difference, like junior and senior year, you playing at a new school?
I was in an environment that I was used to, like, not to be negative, but it was like a little more wild. It wasn't as controlled and do this, do that. It was just like, all right, make some mistakes, do some stuff wrong. It's cool. Like, so I was comfortable. I was with my friends and I was just having fun.
You could be yourself.
Yeah, I could be myself and have fun. It was like in private school, it's like, well, don't do this and be quiet in the hallway. And don't, in class, if you don't raise your hand, step outside. It's like every little thing was an issue when it wasn't really a big deal. So once I got there, it was like fun again. Like it was commotion and chaos and like arguments and roast sessions and all type of stuff. So it was like, I'm back at home, so I was comfortable and happy, so it made a difference on the court.
For you in high school, at what point did it start clicking like that? So your sophomore year, you ain't play a lot. Then you get to your junior year. Was it your junior year where you started to like turn up and you started to feel like, all right, like I could see myself going somewhere? Or when did you start feeling like you could be good?
My junior year, I did like I said, I got there with all my friends, and my friends realized that I was better than them, so they kind of started gassing me up, like, no, you gotta have 30 on them. They can't stop. It was kind of like gassing me up like that. So I started believing it, like even more than I already did. So my junior year, I averaged like 20, and then the feeling I had from that and like my friends like just kind of pushing it and gassing it up like that, I was like, if they think this was something, wait till next year. So that whole summer, like AAU, I was killing. I was working out every day. Like I had never trained like that. We didn't have trainers and all that. It was just like go to the park, hoop outside at the school. When the rec opened up, hooping the rec till they closed, go home.
You didn't play for the Soldiers. Was that like a
Nah.
big deal going on? Because I know me and
Soldiers
Drew,
was like
Drew
the
done
main
talked
team.
about that. Drew said you still
Drew
kind of
Pops
off them.
Drew Pops be with my dad.
Right.
Yeah. So like the Soldiers was bringing in all the top players. I wasn't a top player. So our program was the Oakland Rebels, and we had to sell magazines and seize candy.
I know what team you was. I was that team in my city.
All that stuff. So like, and I had played with them since 6th grade. So we always had to like, we literally was at BART stations and bus stations selling raffle tickets to people at shopping centers, like making.
This was part of the program.
So I learned how to like hustle and make money. So that turned into us like selling the raffle tickets for $2 instead of $1.
Yeah.
And now we making more money, and we going to school selling the candy and selling the magazines. And we basically earning our own way to these tournaments and hotel rooms and doing all this stuff. So like, when we bussing all the way across Oakland and BART and all that stuff and going to the movies together and going to little high school functions and stuff together, these is like my real friends now. Like to this day, these are my friends. So once I got good enough to where the Soldiers was like, just come play a tournament, I was like, no. I just won't be playing in front of no coaches. Like, because we don't really got no coaches at our games like that. You know, it might be 1 or 2 JUCOs and some low major schools. And I was like, if this the price of me like staying loyal to who I've been with, then I'm just not about to be going to Washington or whoever was the high school at that time. I wasn't with it.
You chose Weber State. Was it anybody else that could have been close to getting you?
Weber State or St. Mary's College. It was close to home. It was like 45-minute drive from Oakland. They actually had a good program. Patty Mills was there. When I went on my official visit, and Patty Mills was an incoming freshman. And I was like, I ain't really want to leave home like that, like, cause a bunch of cousins, all my friends was like local. So I was like hoping that St. Mary's was gonna be perfect when I got there, and I could just go there, and it was cool. They got a good program, but I ain't have a good visit. So I went to Weber after that, and I had a great visit. And like one of my, like a big brother to me as an assistant coach for the Jazz right now, Johnny Bryant. Okay. He was he went to the University of Utah with Bogut, and he stayed in Utah. So he like had been living there and training there. And I talked on the phone with him. He was like, man, it'd be cool for you. It's a change of pace. It's different than home, but it's a good place for you to be able to focus on school and on hoop and try to get something done. And I took his word for it. So I was pretty much there with him that whole time. Yeah. And that made all the difference. I was like, I liked my visit. I liked the staff. It's a mid-major school, but it's a big campus. They play in the arena. They win conference. So I'm going to have a chance to get in the tournament, do something Cinderella or something. Right. Get a chance to get seen, go to the league. So all those things kind of played a factor, and I ended up at Weber.
You progressed every year, like your freshman year, your sophomore year, your junior year before you left. Like, what was clicking every year? It's like you was just soaking, just like high school, like NBA too. Like, you might be a late bloomer. People might not pay attention to you, but once you sink your foot into the game, you get it, and you be one of the top players. So what was in college that you was like stepping up every year, and it was just changing? It was getting better and better.
I mean, my freshman year, I came on campus, and I was just like,
"This mine."
I was like, this different. Even though it wasn't a major university, I was like, ain't nobody asking me where I'm at, what you doing, who you with, none of that. So like the freedom was the first thing. I was like, man, it's cool.
Yeah. You might get to move around.
Go to class, like, I mean, you just basically on your own time. And I had never been on my own time. So my freshman year, I got there, and it was like, I was just free. I was going to everything I could go to, parties, anything on campus, I was there. And we started the season, and it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. So I ended up coming off the bench like the first 5 games. So it took me a minute to like really just log in and get serious about it, because I was like, man, I can't come out here and just trick it off. So
I got my people looking at me.
Yeah, like people going to be asking me questions. So season started, I was coming off the bench, and I remember we played in a tournament at UCLA, and it was just like we played against like Miami of Ohio or something like that. And I just couldn't do nothing. Like, I think I had like 2 points. And I was like, man, this ain't like North Carolina or nothing like that. I can't even, I got 2?
Yeah.
Like, I had 2. So I was like, all right, my brother on my phone, like, bro, what you doing? Like, how you had 2? So after that was kind of when it changed. Everything changed. I started training with the guy that I train with now. He was on the staff at the time. And we was in there every morning before practice. And then after practice shooting, he was making me get in the cold tub. Started like getting on me about going to sleep instead of being out and running around.
Yeah.
And then I'll never forget, we played Long Beach State at home. And it was like another big game. And they had a dude on their team that was supposed to be like, scouts was coming to see him. He was a senior and all that. And my coach was like, you gonna take him tonight. Like before the game, he was like, you gonna guard him. And I just remember like being ready, like, oh, they got NBA people coming to see him, and he wasn't getting nothing. Like, I was denying him, picking him up full court, blocking his shots. I was just on him. And then after that was when like the confidence kicked in. I was like, if they looking at him like that, then
maybe they can look at me.
It's on. So I was freshman of the year. I was first team, and then all the dudes that was on the team that year left. So I was coming back the next year basically with a whole new group.
But with your team?
Yeah, and then I was MVP as a sophomore, and then after that's when it was really over. I was like, all right, I got one more year in here, and I'm out.
And you're out.
So the following summer, my coaches have been like begging Adidas, like, we trying to get him in Adidas Nations, like the camp that they do in the summer with NBA players come play. Yeah. The best college players, the best high school, they was trying to get me in. And like a couple people dropped out. A couple people like just couldn't make it, and I got the last spot. So I went to Chicago, and that was the first time I played like
in a setting of that,
like NBA. Like I'm looking at 100+ NBA personnel, and I'm recognizing faces, and all the players that's there is like, it's like Drew Holiday, Eric Gordon, Joakim Noah. Like it's like real players. Corey Brewer. D Rose, they all
the TV teams.
They all in it. They like in camp with us, like hooping, going up and down. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the real test right here. Yeah. So we get out there, we start hooping, and I do something. I get my shot off, I hit a 3. I'm like, they gotta just be letting me do that. Like, ain't no way I could just get it off like that. So then the next time somebody pick me up, I get around them. I'm coming down the lane, nobody come. I get a dunk. So then I'm like, these are NBA players. Like, it's real NBA players out here. So I'm like, while I'm playing, I'm tripping. Like, I'm cool. I get me 2 more buckets, I might be able to leave. Yeah. So after that day, it was like, that broke me in. I was like, all right, I'm here. Like, this shit is happening. Yeah. So I went back to school, and after playing against all those dudes, I was like, man, ain't nobody at the level I'm playing that got a chance. So I came back to my junior year, I was killing. I was like averaging like 28, and then I broke my foot. Yeah. So I missed the rest of my junior year, and basically set me all the way back. Yeah. So when I missed that year, I just trained the whole summer.
That's tough.
Because I was like on the draft board and everything after I left camp. Yeah. Like 2nd round pick. So my senior year, it was my 4th year, but I was a junior because I got the year back. Yeah. And I came back that year, and I was like, the summer, like when I was hurt, I was lifting, I was swimming, I was doing cardio, I was in the gym 3 times every day. It was the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah. You got your body stronger. And
I got stronger. I was more athletic. I was faster. I was bigger. Yeah. Like, I was appreciating the game more.
And you focused.
I came back my last year. I led the country in scoring. Went to the combine. I did it the first day. It was like a whole bunch of buzz around it. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: when you went to the combine coming out, did you have to participate, or did you just do interviews and measurements, or was they like, because you led the country in scoring, so was they on you? I know I had to do everything. He just went there for the interview process.
That was the
child. He the golden child, just going there to talk to people. I'm sitting there, got to jump and dance and do hula hoops with people, and he just sitting there like,
I'm not doing that shit.
I met with such and such today.
Yeah, but you was like Conference USA.
Yeah.
And like I'm coming from a league even smaller.
Right.
So when I got there, I was like, I'm leaving my room, and the way they told me was like, man, you take some slacks, get you a button up. When you go in these rooms and meet with these teams, you need to be dressed, professional, all that. And I'm looking at the other players, they coming out in sweats, tee, flip flops.
Right.
So I'm like, we going about all this different.
Right.
So we getting up in the morning, going to the bus sometimes to go to the gym, and some people just ain't going to the gym. They're like, yeah, I ain't going today. I ain't doing contact. So when I got there, the first day I was like, my agent was like, you know, just do this, do the shooting, do the vertical test, do the bench press so you can show them you're athletic and you're strong and all that. And then like we'll talk after. So I got there, we did 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 1-on-1. We did shooting, the shuttle, we did the vert, we did the 3/4 court sprint, bench. I did everything. And then we did conditioning at the end where it was like 5 up and backs. I won all the sprints.
Bro, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
I won all the sprints. And then I remember after the first day, after that it was over. They was like, oh, he's going to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Like I just remember I had never seen my name on Twitter ever.
Yeah.
And then after that first day, my name, like
Trending.
I typed my name in and it was just
trending.
like nonstop.
Every list
So I was
was like, yeah.
So did
It
you
was
have
like
to do
a
any
taste.
more of that for the rest of the camp, or that was it? Did your agent say shut it down?
He was like, don't do nothing the next day. And I was like, okay. And I did it. I went and did it again the next day.
Program.
And he called me like, man, you crazy. And I was like, man, I ain't fly across the country from Oakland all the way to Chicago to just be here. Like,
you want it
and
more
I'm
than
right
anybody.
here. They like, man, you gonna be a lottery pick. I'm like, you gotta realize where I've come from to where I'm not about to take your word for that. Like,
Right.
I gotta do it for me. Like
real talk.
they probably looking at like yesterday he had a good day. So in my mind, I'm like, today I'm gonna back it up again. And my second day was better than my first day. So I ended up getting picked 6.
Did you think you can be drafted by anybody? You thought you was going somewhere else besides Portland?
I didn't know where I was going. I'm telling you the whole
so
time,
it's all-
I didn't believe
None
nothing
of
nobody
it.
was
Yeah,
telling
this
me.
is
So like,
real.
my agents is like, man, this
like-
gonna happen, or you can do this, and I'm like, 8th. Like it. I was like, man, I'm just trying to be in the top 30. If I can get in the top 30, cool.
That's
'Cause I know
guaranteed money right
guaranteed.
So
So
when you get picked by Portland at 6, how was that? Like, how you feel when you know you about to be going out to Portland?
I wasn't mad at it because the league I played in, the Big Sky, was like Montana State,
there.
Idaho State.
Rough, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
You
It's
riding
Big
up and
Sky
down
country,
that
so
West
we
Coast,
basically we in the middle of nowhere playing.
Yeah.
So the only city that we went to that I was like look forward to was Portland State, because we
Yeah.
played Portland State, and it
Portland
was
State.
like a normal city, restaurants and stores,
Yeah.
and just like it was more normal than everywhere else we went. So that was like where we looked forward to going
He
to.
looked forward.
That was the biggest city that y'all
That was the
played.
biggest city we went to.
Portland
Yeah.
State,
And
ladies
my
and
best friend was going to school in Portland, so it was
He
like.
had it tough.
But that's
I'm just saying.
that's crazy. That's
I'm
coincidence.
just
So
saying.
when they drafted me, I was like,
You said Montana,
perfect.
Montana State.
Yeah, man. We was in like middle of nowhere playing. Northern Arizona.
What made you choose number 0?
I always wore number 1. And then when I got to the league, somebody, I forgot who it was on the roster, on the Blazers roster. Like, he wasn't
number 1.
He had number 1, but I think it was Craig Smith.
Craig Smith.
But he was like, he wasn't gonna be on the team the next year. So they was like, if you want number 1, you can just pick a number to wear for the summer, and then when training camp come around, you can just switch to number 1. But I was like, I mean, it's a cool chance just coming to the league, fresh start, pick a new number. And I picked 0 for Oakland, Ogden, the city I went to school in, and then Oregon. So I was like, I'm just gonna wear it. That's why they call it the letter O.
That's dope. You get to Portland, and Brandon Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge is kind of picking up the torch and revamping the whole Portland Trailblazers.
Boy,
you know,
B.
they
Roy.
pushing for the playoffs and all that stuff. And B. Roy get hurt, and they looking for that next best thing. And you come right in and fit right in. Like your first year at Portland, like how did you feel about it? Winning Rookie of the Year that year, it's like you kind of like it kind of sunk in real quick.
When I got there, I was like, I'm gonna come in and compete for a starting spot. Like, I ain't coming in here to be happy to be here.
Yeah.
Like, we here now, so I'm trying to make my mark from the jump, right off the rip. So I got there, and I could tell by how training camp was going. I was doing all my reps. I was doing everything with LA, Wes, Nico, JJ. So, like,
You were with the right group.
I was with the right group. So
No
I'm like,
shadow when he's going on here. You just start looking like, okay, I like that I'm hanging out with the right people.
I like,
All the stars.
yeah, I'm like, okay, they got me with the stars because I don't really know. I ain't coming into it feeling like I'm the high pick, so they gonna put me with them. I'm coming in there from, like I said, from the background that I come from. Like, I gotta come in here and come get it. So they put me in there, and I just remember my first year being just excited to be like, I'm playing with LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw him the ball every time, and when I'm open, I'm not gonna miss.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. I was like, I'm gonna make the right plays, and I'm just not gonna back down.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be here for whatever I gotta be here for, and try to win some games.
Yeah. Speaking of LaMarcus, y'all click quick.
Yeah.
Like y'all chemistry and everything. As him as a player, let's speak on LaMarcus, because when I got there, he got drafted when I was there, and he had everything. He just didn't have the toughness. And then he got tough. He got stronger. He got, more competitive.
Yeah.
What did you see in LaMarcus when you got there?
See, I never knew him as not tough.
Yeah.
So, like, the Marcus you knew him as is different than what I did.
I know.
When I got there, I was like, man, this motherfucker mean,
He can play.
tough, like, he's
ready
strong.
to go then.
He don't take nothing from nobody. Like, he's the best player I had ever played with, like, that been up close to like that. Because I was like, he don't miss no fadeaways. Every pick and roll I come off when I pass on the ball, he make it every time. Like, he stripped every big man that's trying to do him. He stripped everything, got great hands. He ain't, like, running his mouth. I was just, like, excited to be the point guard that got to play with him. And I was like, if me and him gonna play together, I'm gonna keep getting better so I can match him, and we gonna win it.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
You and LaMarcus had so much success, and then he decided to leave.
Yeah.
Like, what was that moment of time for you? Because I know you looking at it like, hey, we just need a few more pieces, and we good. You know what I'm saying? And then you look back at it now, and just what he's going through in San Antonio, I feel like he never got what he really wanted out of San Antonio.
When I look back on it, I just be like, damn, because my whole thing was I was always trying to, like, just keep getting better, like I said, so I can just match him.
Yeah.
Because if me and him would have stayed teammates and I can get to the level that I'm at now, I'm like, okay, we could have for sure got one. And then maybe we don't lose Batum and we don't lose Wes, and we got CJ, we had
CJ.
Will Barton, Allen Crabbe. We had it.
Yeah.
We had it to do it. We just needed to just stay together. And in San Antonio, he's been to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And I've been to the Western Conference Finals, but we both came up short. So it's like, that just show you that, like, you need other guys. Like, you need somebody else that can carry it. Like, he could have carried us, the team that we had. And when it came down to it, like, if he wasn't having a night, they wasn't gonna stop both of us on the same night or in the same series.
Yeah, y'all was killing.
Yeah, our very first playoff against Houston, in game 1 he had like 46 and 18, and he fouled out.
Yeah, that series he was crazy.
He was killing.
Yeah,
46 and 18, and he fouled out of game 1 at Houston. And this is my first playoff game, and I ended up with like 30 and 7 and something. I finished the game off, so it's like, we could have had a lot of those situations where it's like, when you go down or when you step out, I'll take it over. Because, like, when you got that, that's what you see going on right now.
Yeah, you were saying that you wanted to get to the level that he was. Now you got CJ. You got a chance to watch him get up to the level to compete with you and be out there where you can. I don't care if you don't depend on nobody else.
Right.
I got this one soldier that I know
sure.
is going to ride with me, just to see CJ's development of his game, because he got like
CJ
what
nice.
game he got? He got one of them old school games that he one of them players that can do everything good.
Yeah,
like
he just,
everything. He can do everything.
Yeah,
So
he's just nice. A lot of game.
So CJ getting better and watching him develop, what you think about where CJ is right now and as he continues to get better?
I love where he is. I think, like you said, whenever we go out there, like, I don't worry, because I know if all else fails, I'm gonna turn to CJ, and I know regardless of how he's shooting, how he feel, I know he rolling 100% against whoever. Like, it don't matter if we playing a non-playoff team or if we playing the Lakers or Golden State or whoever. Like, I know we rolling with no fear, and I can live with the result as long as I know I got that beside me. So that's how it is with him. And before every season, we come into the season and it's like, if I snap on you and yell at you, promise me you're gonna take it. And if you do it to me, I promise you I'm gonna take it. But we gotta hold each other to that level without taking it personal. If we're gonna do what we gotta do for this team. And we talk about, like, this is my 5th All-Star game, but I want to be in an All-Star game with him.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Like, I go in these locker rooms and I'm seeing
teammates.
every dude, they teammates, and they, you know what I'm saying, they represented. The teams are represented by 2 players, and they got one of their teammates with them. And every year I'm like, we need to get 2 this year.
Yeah,
Like,
y'all definitely one of my favorite duos.
So it's like, I want to see it happen for him.
Yeah. How do that feel like? Because I look at it, I can remember back when they was always trying to say that they need to split y'all up. And you know, y'all can't play together. Y'all 2 small guards that need the ball. And I take my hat off to y'all, you know what I'm saying? It definitely is it's a representation of how y'all bond is, how y'all rock with each other, because none of that matters. You just explained it yourself. But how do that feel to know that, you know what I'm saying, that y'all kind of quieted that whole discussion and it's moved on to other things, and it's not so much about y'all 2 coexisting, it's about what other things y'all can do to improve. And y'all, I mean, that take 2 of y'all to come together and dispel that.
I mean, because we really friends. So, like, he don't hate on me and I don't hate on him. I think
we know that's a big part of it.
I think that's just what it comes down to. I feel like in this era of sports, there's so many people that they pretend so hard to be so tight that when it come down, the second that something come up where one person got to get less than the other or this person get more credit, like, then the truth come out.
Yeah.
And I think with me and CJ, like, we ain't never tried to play extra tight or nothing. We just let our relationship be what it is. Like, in the summertime, when I'm about to go somewhere, I hit CJ. Like, I'm finna go here. What you gonna be doing? Like, we really mess with each other.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a year-round thing.
Yeah, before he was even playing minutes. CJ was, first 2 years, he wasn't playing at all. And we sat next to each other on the plane and was kicking it on the plane. We really friends. So we don't, if somebody say, oh, they can't play together and like, that has nothing to do with me and him. People always gonna talk, and you know, when the truth come out, they gonna be like, okay, they really friends.
You made a statement and said after you hit the playoff shots against OKC, I was in range. Like, your range is the logo. like
I was,
and I'm really seeing it now because like you shoot for
some shots. You saw that?
Man. Listen.
You shoot
that was a
farther
nice
than
little wrinkle though. I like it.
You shoot farther than
your range.
Everybody.
I
in the
could
league
go out
now.
there and miss both of them. But I like the wrinkle.
What made you just start shooting and being comfortable with that shot? Because that's a comfortable shot. Like, guys gotta actually start guarding you at half court.
Yeah.
It's not that I put my feet on the 3-point line with you and bag out. And this is part of your game now. I'm seeing all these games, these 60-point games, all this stuff, and you shooting that motherfucker from the logo.
Yeah.
Like, what? How is that to add that much range and to add that to your game?
I mean, I've always shot deep.
Yeah.
Like, even high school, college, I've always shot deep because in high school I was the best player on my team. In college I was the best player, so teams was always trying to stop me. So that was like the cleanest shot I could get sometimes. So I would just shoot it from deep. Yeah. And then when I got to the league, I think it was my 6th year when we got swept by New Orleans in the playoffs. We was a 3 seed and had home court. They swept us and everybody was just killing us. They was killing me like, oh, he didn't show up and all this stuff. But they was trapping me, double teaming. Yeah. 3 bodies just loading up. I couldn't. That was
AD now.
I couldn't even get a shot off. Yeah. But I wasn't finna just not try. Yeah. So I was just missing. I couldn't get nothing going. But then that summer I was like, I gotta figure something out, or the team's just gonna keep doing this. And my trainer, Phil Beckner, was like, we got to start training further out. We got to develop your game further out so you can give yourself more space. So we started off like just doing foundation shooting. So I started off shooting deep without jumping. So just like no momentum, nothing, just dip, raise up, and just without jumping. And then we started doing it off the bounce. And then we started moving into it. And then we started doing catch and shoot, like quick releases, just like under a second, just firing them. And then we started doing shooting drills from that distance. And then we started ending workouts, doing all those drills from that distance. So it was like when I was tired, when I didn't have momentum, when it was the end of the workout, when I was coming back to shoot at night for a second workout, we was just working that range just so I could be able to play from further out. And teams they wouldn't be able to just take my space away so easy. So like now, teams try to do it now, they'll run 2 people at me. But I'm so far out when they do it that I just got a lot more space, or it's more
so
ground to cover.
So
when they start running at me, it's an easy pass.
Yeah.
Or if they run at me, I can get around one of the defenders because there's so
hole.
much space. So that was when it really started after we got swept, and I was like, all right, we're going to start just working from further out. So it's been like 2.5 years now where I do it all the time. Like even during the season, when I saw you last year, at the USA thing, I was waiting for them to get done because I was about to shoot right before the playoffs against OKC. And
that's when I found out he's kind of like me. He was up there getting some waters from the facility. I say, you know that's right.
So it was like just doing it during the season, just constantly staying in that routine and just over and over and over to where it's just that comfortable. Now I'm playing from just a different range.
It looked effortless. It looked like you shooting a free throw. Like it don't. You know how somebody trying to get it there, it's like that look like your normal shot right there, and that's scary for defenders because like you still got speed. So now y'all got to push up, and like you say, you get around them. I can get all the way to the basket, or I got so much wide open space to pass to anybody and get the
when
rock.
you playing from that far out, and I get around the dude, the help got to come from first. They got to cover more ground, so the play is easier to make.
And the big guys got to get out there. That's why they got you the reason they got these little centers out there.
Right.
Small ball.
hey,
got to be able to move.
So please, I need you to walk me through the walk-off series ender and how I mean, the shot was all that, but I want to know how you was so composed.
They gonna play that forever.
The picture when you on the ground, when they grabbing you, they going all crazy. My G said, hey boy, first he gave him the little big baby bye. Y'all get your ass out of here.
It was after I made it, like I just felt so much like inside of me because it was so much back and forth in the series. It was so much back and forth, and not just during the games, but like post game press conferences. It was just so much being said. That after I did it, I turned back because I wanted to look at their faces. I just wanted to see like
how y'all look.
Like I really turned back, and once I did, I just waved. Like, I never even thought about waving.
That's how it's supposed to happen. That's how it's supposed to happen. You supposed to wave them goodbye. That's what we do. We win some, we lose some. But this is my turn.
What did you think in the aftermath when you saw yourself on the meme? You had to laugh at that.
No, I did laugh because I laughed because the moment that it happened, I knew it was gonna be a meme because I didn't even mean to make that face. I just was like, I was in the pile. When I was in the pile, I looked up. And the camera was just right there in my face. So I just kind of like stared in the camera. But it wasn't even on purpose though. They just caught my face when it was like that. But the camera was just right there.
I said, yo.
That was your brother running down the side.
Yeah, my brother and my sister.
Oh man, I like their reaction too. Man.
My brother had to put his drink down before he ran over there.
When I saw that, I was like, yo, what's wrong with this kid? Like, he is straight calm. Like, that's
what I do.
That was priceless.
That was one of them moments. Like, what?
Yeah.
Where do you think you get your personality from? I feel like since day one, when I started checking you out when you came in, you got like a poise about yourself where it don't matter. Even, you know what I'm saying, when somebody coming at you trying to compete, talk trash, like you don't really per se engage in the trash talk. you got your little subtle isms in here there, but like you don't really like. For me, I look at somebody like you. Like if I had your type of game, it wouldn't be nobody could say shit to me. Like you better not open your mouth. Like I ain't even had your type of game, and I was with everything. You know, y'all talk crap for you, and the next person. So
yeah, but that's just because that's who you are. Yeah. So like even if it wasn't a basketball game, it'd be like that.
That's how you.
So like for me, I don't think I get my personality from a basketball player. It's from like my dad and where I grew up and the kind of people I grew up around. So I'm coming into a basketball game like it's just a basketball game. So if you talking trash to me about basketball, then I know I can do something about it. Like I don't gotta talk crazy with you and all that. Like I know you ain't gonna scare me, and you ain't gonna really move me either way. I'm gonna do what I gotta do regardless of whatever you saying. So you really just psyching yourself out, more than you doing anything for me. So I think that's just where it come from. Like I believe in what I do as a basketball player, and I know what I come from. Yeah, and I don't come from no like punk shit. So when they like turn into that, I don't be really tripping on it. I don't be moved by it at all.
Yeah, especially knowing that a lot of these folks ain't about that life.
And I think that help you like be confident. Like you more confident when you like around the NBA more. Yeah, and you start to see like different personalities and different body language and different comments that people make, and you like, man, I seen that before. Yeah, I know that behavior.
That toned down my aggression a lot, like in the NBA too, because it was like something on the court can get you so mad, and you be like, I'm at him, and you used to be like, oh no, if I see him later, I'm getting at him. But when you realize you see them guys later, or you always pass them by, and it ain't even like that.
Yeah, it ain't.
That was just the game that night, or the bow he might have threw that day.
He was mad about not getting a call.
Yeah, he was in something that didn't have pertain to me, and when you kind of see that, it'd be like, why entertain it?
Yeah, but sometimes when it happened, you be in your mind, you like he think I'm a sucker. Like he think he could whoop me or something.
That's what I was gonna say, because I definitely see every once and again. You like I said, you got your isms. You let them know. I want to say it was few games back, I retweeted it. You did something, and I ain't know the professional lip reader, but you said they can't fuck with me. And I said, boy, I retweeted and said, no, they cannot. That was exactly what I said, because this was in the midst of this damn stretch where you was going just nuts, like
60, 40, 50.
I don't talk trash though. I just say what I mean. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I don't be in nobody's face. I don't talk crazy. I might have 50, but I'm not about to be saying something. I might talk to my own team, or like the clip you talking about. I said that to the TV crew because they was just looking at me when I was walking by. Yeah. But I mean, like, I just say what I mean. I don't disrespect nobody or nothing like that.
I feel like you was kind of frustrated that they weren't giving you the credit that you deserve, especially like with the All-Star team and stuff. And I know like it's a day and time where it's a bunch of point guards out there. You got the Stephs, you got the Kyries, you got all that. From a couple of years ago to now, I feel like everybody is really knowing like, shit, it's Dame time. It's I'm here, and I'm here to be welcome. I'm just as good as the Stephen Currys and all that stuff. To get from them couple of years ago where they really didn't. It was a debate whether you supposed to have been an all-star, which I don't know why. Right. You know what I'm saying? To now they know, like, I'm in regardless. Like, how does it feel to just get that progression and earn some more respect? Because you keep on earning respect every year you play, but steady earning that respect over the year.
I mean, it feel good to get to that point. But I think I was just frustrated because I was younger. And I was trying so hard to prove myself and trying so hard to show them, like, I'm nice too. Like, I can do this too. And the more that it wasn't being acknowledged, I was just irritated by it. Like, one year I averaged 27, made the playoffs, and, like, didn't make it. So I'm like, I wanted answers, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all need to tell me why. Like, otherwise y'all hating and y'all in denial. Like, what's going on? Another year I averaged 25, didn't make it. But at the time, I just was like, I think I was just young, because as I've gotten older, the more I just stopped caring and just started doing me and handling my business for for the reasons that mean something to me, is like all-star.
It's coming like that this season.
Playoffs, Western Conference Finals. So I just stopped caring. So now it's all in their face. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying nothing about it. So it's even more powerful.
This past summer, you came out with an album.
Yeah.
You know, and I never seen like a ball player get the type of love and respect like your NBA brothers that came out, and like a lot of people like from every industry, from rap to pop to basketball, football, whatever, was just showing you love for this album and this piece of art that you put together. Like now you can listen to the album and kind of suck in what you feel about this album, how you did yourself, and how you feel about the love that everybody was getting. Because a lot of people was just reposting it, retweeting it, just showing a lot of love, and I felt that was dope as hell to show.
It was real cool. I feel good about it because I wrote a lot on this album, and I wasn't even planning on putting one out. I was just like setting up a studio in Airbnbs when I was traveling the train and stuff, and I was just recording. My first 2 albums I put out, when I came back and listened to them like later, I was like, I like this song, I like that song, like kind of picking and choosing. And some of them just didn't sound as good as they did when I recorded them. But with this album, like when I go back to it now and listen to it, I'm like, man, this hard. Like this hard for real. Like that's why people liked it, because it's actually good. But to see like all the support from like my peers and real artists and actors and comedians and all that stuff, I think that's real cool because for one, they don't have to do it. And I think it's easy to just hate, like, oh, he a basketball player, he make money already, and basketball players always want to rap. Like all that did was tell me that they actually listened to it and they respected it. So just getting that feedback, I'm like, man, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to sell music to, I need to make more money. It's like I really mess with music. I love to do music. So just like the support and people acknowledging like this music is hard, that's good enough for me. So I think in that way it accomplished what I wanted it to accomplish.
I felt like with you with this music, and which is rare because, you know, most people who do music it's about the art too, but it's about $1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With you, it's like your biggest
right.
is good.
I'm doing it because
like,
I really care.
But you doing
it
it because you cared about, you grew up on hip hop, you grew up on the music, you really love this, and that goes a long way. And that's why I was so happy with the just the love and support of everybody who was just supporting you. You know what I'm saying? And you had the opportunity to get one of the GOATs to be on your album, and Lil Wayne.
He done been on all my albums. That's the cool
part.
On
all of them.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. But you had the opportunity to get the GOAT on your album. And, you know, Wayne is the GOAT of our era. You know what I'm saying? Of rapping, and
he even more solid dude too, man.
And you get an opportunity to perform with him. Like, what you think about what's the big thing about Wayne? Like when you got the opportunity to get with Wayne, it's like, man, I got Lil Wayne, somebody I've been listening to for so long, on a song, on every album, and rocking with me like that.
It's crazy because like it got to the point with me and Wayne where like I send him a song, like I'm working on this, and he'll send me 3 songs, like, all right, rap on this. And I'll do the verses, send them back. So I done did like 5, 6 songs for Wayne that he just got.
That's dope. That's dope.
But I think the coolest thing since I've been cool with him is like I was in LA one time and he was like, man, pull up on me at the studio. I'm about to be at the studio. And I'm like, I'll pull up, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And when you thinking Lil Wayne, I'm thinking I'm finna pull up to the studio. It's finna be a bunch of people, a bunch of dudes with him. I walked in there and it was him, the engineer, and one other person. Just in there getting it in. Getting it in. I'm talking about, like, I ain't never seen nobody record like that. All the music he was playing, he got, like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I had respect to the 1 millionth power for him before that. But then after that, I was like, this crazy. The way this dude just record. He had ESPN on the TV. He'd watch it for a second, go back in the booth. It was crazy, man.
I feel like you one of the guys that has kind of made it okay and validated, you know what I'm saying, this generation where you see a lot of different guys just in the league trying to put out music and rapping. You got Victor Oladipo singing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But guys aren't afraid to, you know what I'm saying, to step into that realm and say, I want to do music, or whether it's DJing, rapping, or whatever. You got guys that's doing it. And I feel like you one of the first guys of this, you know, that's making it acceptable for this generation, where when you jump out there, people, and you know, you got, like you say, the Lil Waynes, the titans of the industry really repping you and validating, saying that you know what I'm saying, that you can rap, you got, you know what I'm saying, lyrics and bars. So how does that feel to be part of that, making it okay? And then just to see all of the other guys, like upcoming rookies, like the Marvin Bagley guy, seeing him rapping. Actually, y'all rapping with each other, whatever. But you know, like, you know, it's all that's you inspiring though.
Yeah, no, I mean it's cool because it's people did it before I did it, and that made me feel like, man, people have done it before, so I'm not doing something that hasn't been done. So it was like that made me that much more comfortable to just kind of do it. It was just a matter of how I planned it and how I put it together, so people didn't just shoo me away as soon as I did it. So I created a platform on Instagram, 4 Bar Friday, and I made it a community where a bunch of people was doing it. And I just slowly introduced myself. And during that time, I was able to show my real passion for hip hop and the fact that I'm a student of the history of hip hop. I'm not just some NBA player throwing my fucking hat in I'm doing music now out of nowhere. I'm just doing music because I'm an NBA player and people gonna support it. I took the same steps as any other aspiring artist would. It was I did 4 Bar Friday for 2 years, where I'm posting 4 bars every Friday over and over, and I'm allowing other people to be a part of it. Then I was on SoundCloud for 2 summers, dropping songs every Monday. Yeah.
D-Wright put me up on that.
I was doing it on SoundCloud for 2 years and built up a SoundCloud following. Yeah. And I was going to arenas. I remember we played in Milwaukee during that 2 years, and they was SoundCloud rapper, but I'm but all of y'all know that my shit is on SoundCloud. So it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Yeah. So once that happened, the following summer, I did a show, and the show sold out in 45 minutes. I sold merch. I did a whole concert off SoundCloud music, and everybody was blowing up my social media, do an album. You got to do an album. So I did an album. Once I did that album, I did a couple more shows. I did Vegas. I did Washington. I started just.
You already did Vegas?
Did Vegas.
Oh, hey, man.
Matter of fact, I did Vegas twice.
Straight up.
Hey, man.
I started really doing it, and they was paying me to do it.
Now,
so
let me hear about you retirement time, what you going on tour now.
This is one of the dopest parts of that, though. You spoke on, I love the fact that now that, on your latest album, you even went back and you bringing some of your artists from 4 Bar Friday and you giving them a platform and putting them out there and giving them a voice. So that's super hard. The fact that you first created it and then start putting
and then you start reach
Friday
back
with that.
Because you make it a real platform and it's like I said, it's not even about me making money from it. But it's I love music and the culture of music, so how can I reach back and do some of these people? It's 4 Bar Friday artists that send me music. I done been on so many people's songs that people probably ain't even heard, but they got music with me. Yeah. And it's
hard.
Other 4 Bar Friday artists then connected with other artists, and it's a real community. Yeah. It's a real thing. So I think a lot of rappers and people, they just respect the fact that I didn't just jump into it listen to me. It was a real process of any other artist.
You think you got that type of approach from your degree in sales? Because that seems like you real methodical and real situated.
Yeah, I think so. I done been in every type of class. My degree is in professional sales and business. Right. So the negotiations, the marketing,
know how to Jerry, he know how to judge.
All that, but that go back to I was just telling y'all, having to sell magazines and
neighborhood
raffle tickets and all that stuff. And you coming up to people and they looking at you what are you doing over here? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I seen you here all
yeah,
week.
you was here last summer.
I just
like,
gave you $5.
So you gotta
like
have
little
some
kids
type
outside
of
the Dream Hotel.
You gotta have some type of mouthpiece.
Yeah,
and you gotta be able to like get people to listen to you. And you gotta show people like this is what the return is. This is why this is valuable. This is the purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like everything that I do, like if it don't have a real purpose to me, I'm not gonna do it to begin with.
Straight up.
When I do decide to do it, I'm gonna have idea and I'm gonna have a plan on how I'm gonna get people to buy into it. And once they do that, they're gonna know that it ain't just some phony, random put together shit. They're gonna be like, okay, at least I respect it. Yeah. So I mean
it's always good to have a plan with anything you do instead of just going into it. We're in the NBA and all us always wanted to have a nickname. Like we always want to have, you got the Truth out there, you got so many different nicknames out there, and Dame Dollar, Dame Time.
Yeah.
Like which one you like the most, and how does it feel to just the world giving, like, you know you as your nickname and just it seems like they connect more to you by calling you Dame Time or Dame Dollar.
No, I think they do. Like Dame Dollar is my rap name, and I gave myself that name. So I think Dame Time like just hit harder for me because it's a name. I think when people give you a name, that's when it's a real like gang behind it. It's people really behind it because I didn't ask for that. Yeah. Like they gave me that off how I represent myself, like off what I've done.
Yeah.
And they said, this is what we think of that. And for not only fans to be saying it, for every time I look on First Take or TV, Stephen A. Smith like Dame Time.
Yeah.
Right. And the NBA draft, NBA All-Star draft they did the other day when Brian picked me, he was like, Dame Time. I'm picking Dame Time. So like, that ain't something that I came up with. It's something that the people came up with. So I think that just hit harder.
Stick more. Yeah.
You the first player to play to be in all the events at All-Star. Yeah. And now you get to perform.
So this really doing every
that's
event.
What I'm saying. Like you taking it a step further than everybody did. You done been in every contest, and now you about to go out there and hit the stage. Like, tell me how that feel to have the NBA as a league and an organization, fraternity and all that embrace you and say at our biggest stage, when we got our stars of stars out, they gonna put you on that stage to perform.
I think it's cool, man. I think it's a situation where the NBA deserve a lot of credit because it's something that they just don't do. You know what I mean? Like they have the resources to go and get whatever artist they want and represent the NBA however they want to, and it's a big weekend for the NBA. So for them to be like, we're going to take one of our players and put him on stage and give him a chance to do something to help himself. So like it's going to look good on them to have a player that's performing and all that, but like the audience and how many people will be tuned in and all that, like what it could do for me just for my own artist, like I think that's big of the NBA to kind of allow that to happen. So it's gonna be cool, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be real cool.
The NBA, I feel like we always, from David Stern to even Adam Silver now, that the NBA has always done, head and shoulders the best job just promoting our players and allowing us to be who we are and do what we do and really getting behind us with it. So
it's getting better, man.
Yeah,
like the Dre had the dress code where they couldn't wear the tall tees and no hats and all this stuff, and now it's like that's why I said they deserve credit because they embracing like who we culture, are and like what we like to do. Like dudes showing up with no shirt underneath and just crazy stuff. But it's like
believe it or not, we had to wear them suits for y'all to be able to do this.
I know.
Like things had gotten so bad at that point, we had the real things in, and that's what that allows y'all to be able to go out there and fully express yourself.
Already.
Because like David Stern had to show him, like, wait a minute, like it's not as bad as you think.
Right.
We can make it look this way, and then once they got everybody to buy in and see what's really going on, now you can go ahead and do what you do.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's cool now.
You stranded on the island outside of your music. What's the 3 albums that you'd love to have?
The 3 albums I would love to have. I'm gonna have the Carter. I'm gonna have Steelmatic. And All Eyes on Me.
Did you ever think that you'll have your own shoe? To have your own shoe. And now
I'd be lying if I said that. I'll tell you a story right now.
Yeah.
So when I got drafted, I went to summer league and I was wearing J's the whole time.
Yeah.
Like the whole draft process, I was wearing Jordans. And Adidas came with a contract at summer league, and there was way more money than I ever heard of. So I was like, I'm taking it. Yeah. I'm telling my agent, like, let's do that right now. He's like, all right. So they show up in my hotel room. They give me some D Roses. I'm like, cool. What other colors y'all got? Like, give me every shoe y'all. I take every shoe y'all got. Yeah. So they come in. They give me the shoe. And I'm like juiced. Brought all the shoes they done brought to my room. Wear these ones in the first game. Wear these ones in the next game. I'm matching them up. So they leave. And my agent like, man, you gonna get a signature shoe in a couple years. Like, you come out, you do what you gotta do, and you do this, you do that, you gonna get a signature shoe. I was like, okay. Like, I thought, when he said it to me, I was like, my attitude was the same as when he told me I was gonna be a lottery pick. I was just like, man, y'all, that's the business. Y'all just say that shit. Like,
to anybody.
Right.
That's y'all job to tell us, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't about to get no shoe. No, nobody got no shoe. It's like 4 or 5 dudes.
Yeah.
So I kind of just shooed it off like, man, he's lying. He's saying what he got to say. A couple years later, they like, I showed up in Arizona at like, it was like a Adidas event on a resort. I showed up and they was just showing a bunch of new merch and socks and all type of stuff, uniforms. And then at the end of that, they was like, all right, we need you for 1 hour. We need you for an hour after all this is done. And I'm like, an hour? I'm trying to leave. Like, I'm trying to come here. And they took me in the room, and there was the beginning stages of, like, my first signature shoe.
First signature.
And I walked in there, and I was like, I'm about to really get a signature shoe. Like, this shit crazy.
I'm gonna sit in here for a minute.
We end up being in there for a minute. I'm like, can I take these? Like, can I take a picture of these? Yeah, I took the sample. I was training the whole summer in the samples. Like,
couldn't take them all.
Man.
So, when you got the money, when the bag kind of chinked in, what did you go and buy that you thought, you was like, whoa, I just paid all that for that?
When I first got in the league?
Yeah, when you got the money.
When I first got in the league.
Big purchase, like, whew, I paid all that.
I bought me a Porsche. That was the first
You bought a Porsche?
Yeah.
Well, you did win Rookie of the Year, so that was like a bonus.
I bought a Porsche off the rip.
Off the rip.
Like,
911.
I bought it, yep. So I bought it so fast.
911.
I bought it so fast that I was still living in Oakland when I bought it. Like, I went, so like the first check I got from the Blazers, I hadn't even played a game yet. I came to Portland in the summer, and it was like advanced. So I came to Portland in the summer, and they handed me the check. And I was like with my brother and my older cousin that's like my brother, and we looking at it like,
look at all those zeros.
We couldn't believe it. Like, I was ready to go spend it all right there.
Mama,
but
we made it.
I came back home, got back to Oakland, went to Burlingame, went to that Porsche dealership. I was in there looking at them. I was like, test driving them. I was scared as hell test driving them Porsches. Like,
you break, you buy.
I ain't never drove, man. I got my first car when I was 21.
Damn.
Yeah, I had a Grand Prix when I was 21. I bought it for $1,500 in a PS3, man. PS2.
You had some games with it?
Hey, that's
Nah,
hilarious.
just
Just the system.
Yeah.
That
Gave
is-
him my system, bro.
What color was the Porsche?
It was charcoal gray.
Charcoal gray. How much it
I
cost?
still got it.
Oh, you still got it?
Yeah, it was 100.
cool little 6 figures, you know, something light.
9/11.
Something light.
Something light for a real player out
got
here
a
in these
couple,
streets,
yeah.
you know. Hey,
I
so
thought I pulled up in the neighborhood in it. I bought it.
Did you go get some
got
sunglasses?
to.
You had to have some special sunglasses.
You gotta pull up in the neighborhood.
Nah, I was too juiced to have anything. I went
as is.
I left the dealership in it, and I was sped back to Oakland, pulled right into the neighborhood.
You already know.
I'm looking around, wasn't nobody outside. I was like, dang.
You fit.
It's supposed to be my time. Where y'all at? Block's supposed to be hot right now.
Wasn't nobody outside.
How many times did you talk to yourself or you rap the whole song in the joint when you first get? I know when I first got my first brand new joint, I'm talking about, I'm looking all in the rear view. I'm kind of checking myself out. I'm singing every song that
I didn't even know how to work the radio. Once I got in it, I was like, the people, when I got in it, they was trying to explain to me like all the different gadgets and all the stuff in the car.
You like, I gotta go.
And I was like, wasn't listening. I was just like, hurry up and finish talking so I can pull up off this lot. So as soon as he got done explaining everything, he gave me the little manual and all that stuff. I sat it in the passenger seat. Got up out of there. And then when I turned it off, I was kind of looking around like, damn, I ain't really know how to do nothing. So I basically had to teach myself how to do everything in there.
Oh, man.
Who did you pattern your game after? I know you have the GPs, you have the Jason Kids from your area, but who was that player that you
GP,
seen?
B. Shaw, all them from Oakland, and we all knew they was from Oakland. So it was like we rode for GP, B. Shaw, J. Kidd, like Hook Mitchell, anybody from Oakland, we was like
Hook Mitchell.
Yeah, you couldn't say nothing about them. But I was always more Stephon Marbury, AI, Nick Van Exel, Kevin Johnson, like.
I just saw KJ in the airport this morning.
That was always like just what I liked, like AI, Stephon Marbury, Nick Van Exel, like them was always I just always loved their game. Yeah, Gilbert Arenas.
That makes sense.
Like them was all I like loved them dudes.
Yeah, you just named all killers too. So I can say why you kill it like that.
So you've been tearing the whole league up, pretty much ripping it apart. Who do you enjoy watching right now? Somebody, I mean, obviously we all know LeBron, Giannis, the big boy name. Like, who do you sit back and on your off day or whatever, if they playing, you like, I want to check this boy out?
My favorite player to watch in the league is Devin Booker.
Range Rover.
Devin Booker is cold.
Yeah. Devin Booker. He's an all-star.
They played him.
Played him. He and Brad Beal.
I haven't said nothing.
Upset.
I haven't said nothing about Book not making it, cause like I've been through.
You know how he feel.
I know exactly how he feel. Like he averaging like 27 something right now. I averaged 27 and didn't make it. But like I think it's crazy that he didn't, because he's had more years of like killing and not making it than I did at the time. Yeah. Like I don't know how he didn't make it this year. Yeah. I don't get
averaging
it.
28.
I don't know how he didn't make it.
That's not an all-star. I don't know what it is.
I like him. I like his demeanor, how he play.
And he just hoop. He don't be saying a whole lot. He really productive. He efficient.
That boy bucket.
I watch him, and the other player I watch like often is Bogdanovich, Bogey in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. He nice too.
Yeah, I like him. You remember the first dunk on you had?
The first dunk on I had was in Summer League. It was Keith Benson.
Keith Benson.
He was only in the league for a couple years.
Yeah, big boy, ain't he?
Yeah.
I think, was he? Yeah,
he played for Atlanta.
Yeah.
He was another mid-major big, and he was in Atlanta. In my first summer league, it was like ball got tipped by like right outside the three-point line, and I caught it, and I just took one dribble from the three and just rose off one leg, and he tried to get it too. He fouled me and everything, and we just, like our bodies was like tangled up. I went straight through him like a real dunk.
When was the first time you met Michael Jordan?
I never met Michael Jordan.
You never met Mike?
Aha.
You like the first person we ever been around that never met Mike.
When I was in Charlotte, I think it was like my second year. We played at Charlotte.
That's crazy.
And I was walking down the
tunnel.
I was walking in the tunnel going to the locker room, and he was a couple feet like behind me. I kind of turned and looked, and he just like nodded his head. I nodded my head, and I was just like, what do I do right now? Like,
trust me, we all had that all moment.
I was like, what do I do? And I just kept walking, like I'm just gonna keep walking. But I ain't never met him.
That's crazy.
I think it's a lot of, like, this my 8th year in the league, and I feel like I would have met a lot more people.
Yeah.
Like, as far as just famous people. Like, I don't know nobody.
I mean,
Like, I don't know. I mean, I know people. It's like some people, but I don't know nobody like that.
Hey, man, everybody know you, man, and everybody respect you and your game, so that's all that matters.
D-My industry out here, you know what I'm saying? He industry, he know everybody. Everybody know him.
That's a lie. That's truly a lie.
What was that movie you was in?
Don't do me like that, Dad.
Nah, he was in The Perfect Score, you know what I'm saying? Still in test.
Perfect Score.
You know what I'm talking about? He know you industry. You couldn't even camouflage your industry. Come through right there.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen the joint.
Oh, man, here y'all
That's
go.
a moment right there, boy. You was trying to slide under the radar. He didn't seen you out here.
I for sure seen it.
Y'all talking about when I was Denzelin'.
All right, man. You know, we got our special edition black box that the blackest one came up with. You know what I'm saying? Got a little merch in here for you, little T-shirt, hoodie.
Knucklehead.
And then, you know, we got very, very special and very gracious sponsors. You know what I'm talking about? Got that good Hennessy VSOP, but we got the Knuckleheads edition for you.
Okay, for sure.
You know
Appreciate
what I'm saying?
that.
Appreciate you letting us pull
For sure.
up. Man.
For sure, man. For sure. Appreciate y'all having me, man.